This is News 8 Now this morning.
The company, co-owned by Republican governor candidate Tim Michels, was sued by a black welder in 2014, alleging he was racially discriminated against throughout his employment and was denied career advancements.
Our mission is empowering voters, defending democracies.
But these days, Google Voice hijackings have become a huge problem.
We get a dozen calls about someone who's lost control of their account.
It was a pleasure coming to work every day for him.
Dustin Walters is a lieutenant with the Eau Claire County Sheriff's Department. He worked under the late Ron Kramer's leadership for years.
He was just a great leader and a true inspiration, and he was just a great guy to have around the office.
Safety is a connection. La Crosse police officer Joel Miller knows that well.
One of the things that's really frustrating as a patrol officer is either not knowing what to do or not having access to the thing that you know needs to be done.
Well, a good Wednesday morning to you on this September 21st, 2022. We want to thank you for joining us. We'll get to those headlines in just a couple of minutes. But first off, kind of depended on where you lived last night in terms of if you saw rain or if it was just clear skies.
Right.
How much longer are we going to have these 80-degree summer-like temperatures? It can't be long, can it?
No, this is actually a change here. Starting today, we're going to be looking at much cooler temperatures because we just had a front move in last night, and that's probably why you heard some rumbles of thunder, maybe even saw some flashes of lightning, because sometimes these fronts will bring a chance of thunderstorms out ahead of them if the environment ahead of them, of those fronts, I should say, are favorable. And that's exactly kind of what we saw last night for our northern zones. There you could see those storms that moved through around 9-10 o'clock and then cleared out by around the overnight hours. City Cam 8 right now looks nice and calm, but you can notice some shaking there. That is from the wind on the back side of that cold front, so some gusty winds at times are still possible during the morning. Temperatures into the 60s now, 59 though currently in Eau Claire. Those cloudy skies may continue here because we may see some increase in moisture just a tad, and then we'll start to see those clouds kind of thin out here as we head towards later in the day, with temperatures warming up into those upper 60s to low 70s. But overall, it's much cooler than what we've been seeing here lately. Now, as far as your allergy report here goes, low for ragweed, weed, and the mold is still high. Same can be said for tomorrow. Our highest ragweed counts of this year were back in August on the 26th and earlier this month on September 9th. I'll have your schoolcast coming up in just a bit. Jordan.
All right, looking forward to that. Thanks a lot for the update, Derek. Republican candidate for governor Tim Michels is blasting a report detailing 5 lawsuits in the past 2 decades declaring sexual harassment and racial discrimination at his construction company. Those lawsuits have been settled. Now, one of the former employees who settled is sharing his story. He told our Milwaukee CBS affiliate while working for Michels Corporation, he faced racial discrimination.
The industry where they didn't want women and they didn't want no minorities, so I'll leave it with that.
Female and minority workers who work for the Brownsville construction company Michels Corporation were allegedly subjected to sexual assault, harassment, and racial discrimination, according to 5 federal court cases. The company, co-owned by Republican governor candidate Tim Michels, was sued by a black welder in 2014, alleging he was racially discriminated against throughout his employment and was denied career advancements. The man who filed the suit spoke to CBS 58 anonymously. He says while he wasn't pleased with how the lawsuit was settled, he doesn't hold any grudges against Michels, instead the individuals he worked with.
I don't think that should impact him because he just owned the company. I'm thinking it's the industry that you're in, you know what I'm saying? I was more or less the first black guy to well cross-country pipeline, and I just experienced a lot of difficulties with it.
Court documents also reveal 3 former employees separately sued Michels Corporation in 1998 and twice in 2012. Each claim they repeatedly faced unwanted sexual comments and harassment. According to a February 2012 complaint, a male superior groped the crotch and inner thigh of a female employee with such force it caused her significant pain. It also alleged if she refused demands for sex, she would be blackballed from working on a pipeline job in Wyoming. In a separate incident, a female worker was given a sex toy and pornographic images for her birthday, according to court records. Michels Corporation tells CBS 58 they cannot talk about these specific cases, but added they have a rigorous training and seminars to create a safe working environment. In a statement, the company says they have always been committed to maintaining a working environment free of harassment, intimidation at all of its locations, and any violation is not tolerated. Michels, who's locked in a tight race with Democratic Governor Tony Evers, has been centering his campaign on his executive leadership at Michaels Corporation.
We know at Michaels Corporation, if you take care of people, good things will happen. And as governor, my #1 priority is to take care of the hardworking people of Wisconsin.
A campaign spokeswoman for Michaels declined to comment on the wide-ranging allegations and deferred our questions to the company.
Michaels' campaign released a statement. It says the report of these unproven allegations is a coordinated attack by Governor Tony Evers and his media allies, and that harassment in the workplace should not be ignored, and that it was not ignored under Michaels Corporation leadership. Democratic U.S. Senate candidate Mandela Barnes' campaign removed the names of 2 law enforcement officers from the list of endorsements. One of them is La Crosse County Patrol Captain John Siegel. As News 8 Now first reported on Monday, Siegel said he never endorsed Barnes. A Barnes spokeswoman told Wisconsin Public Radio Siegel's name was added due to a clerical error. The campaign also removed the name of Racine County Sheriff's deputy who supports Barnes but is banned from publicly endorsing a candidate due to federal law. Wisconsin 3rd Congressional candidate Brad Pfaff says he will debate Republican candidate Derek Van Orden at a town hall event. Pfaff, a Democrat, previously challenged Van Orden to 3 traditional debates. The Van Orden campaign said it would only participate in town hall events where voters ask the questions. Pfaff says he wants a moderator to ask questions submitted by voters. The current state senator says it's important for voters in the 3rd Congressional District to hear from both candidates.
And the people of this district expect their member of Congress to be accessible, to be open, to be transparent, and to have someone that knows this district.
The Van Orden campaign responded to Pfaff's offer with a statement. It reads in part, "We are more than happy to negotiate with good faith with media partners. We made our conditions clear last week." Happening today, the candidates for La Crosse County Sheriff will participate in a meeting. Fritz Leinfelder and John Siegel are running to replace retiring Sheriff Jeff Wolf. The La Crosse County Criminal Justice Management Council is hosting the meeting. District Attorney Tim Michaels is moderating. That meeting is open to the public, and you can submit questions ahead of time by email, the one that you see on your screen, or you can submit questions at the meeting. We've got more information at news8000.com. The candidates for Wisconsin State Assembly are getting their message out to voters during a La Crosse Chamber of Commerce meeting. 95th Assembly incumbent Democrat Jill Billings and Republican challenger Chris Woodard shared their view on public education and the tax dollars needed to properly fund it.
K-12 education is really important in my district right now when we look at the issue with teacher salaries and new referendum and funding. So that's an important issue.
Funding education at an appropriate level because our children are our future. We need to make sure that we continue to fund them in that manner.
Later on News 8 Now at 5, you will hear from District 96 candidates, Republican incumbent Lauren Oldenburg and Democratic challenger Jane Swigum. Abortion is playing an expensive role in the midterm election. According to Ad Impact data estimates, Democratic candidates are spending over $120 million on campaign ads relating to abortion rights. That's nearly 20 times more than they spent in 2018. Most of the ads focus on attacking Republican challengers. The data also reveals the Republican Party has avoided this topic within their ads. 1 in 4 eligible voters don't know how to register, and the League of Women Voters is helping the La Crosse area overcome that statistic. The group took to the La Crosse main library to celebrate National Voter Registration Day on Tuesday. This year's election is crucial, and volunteers from the League want to remind people that voting is a great way for your voice to be heard.
Our mission is empowering voters, defending democracy, so that's why we're here to try and help people get registered.
If you are not registered, you can do so in person all the way to Election Day or online through October 19th. You can find more information at news8000.com. President Joe Biden is pushing Congress to pass a bill aimed at targeting dark money in campaigns. The law would require greater transparency into who is behind the negative campaign advertising. The president says the Disclose Act is important to saving our democracy. The law failed to pass in the Senate while Obama was in office, and GOP opposition may lead to the same result this week. The Senate is expected to vote on the act sometime today. Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers is trying to set PFAS standards for Wisconsin's groundwater again. According to the Wisconsin State Journal, Evers authorized the DNR to begin working on rules. Earlier this year, the Natural Resources Board put PFAS limits in place for surface water and drinking water, but rejected limits for groundwater. Rules need approval from the governor, Natural Resources Board, and state lawmakers. Still to come on your Wednesday morning news, Wisconsin law enforcement giving Eau Claire Sheriff their final respects. And filling up the boot, how the La Crosse Fire Department is raising money for the Muscular Dystrophy Association. With that in mind, we are sending you to break with something to put the good in your Wednesday morning. The Boston Celtics are honoring the legacy of the late Hall of Famer Bill Russell during its upcoming season. Russell died July 31st at the age of 88. The team unveiled a new home court at AT and TD Gardens Monday. Now, it has Russell's number 6 on both lanes, and the NBA will also retire Russell's number 6 jersey, making the 11-time NBA champion the first player to have his number retired across all 30 NBA teams. It is 10 after the hour. Your latest forecast is just ahead here on News 8 Now this morning.
City Cam 8 giving us a glimpse of what it looks like out there. Mainly dry, temperatures into the 60s as well. You'll notice a difference as far as our temperatures go as we head into the afternoon. Instead of the 80s, we're going to be well into the low 70s here today, but a little cooler in areas like Mindoro. They're at 68 degrees. Bangor at 70 degrees this afternoon. Meanwhile, south in Soldiers Grove will be 71 and Viroqua at 69 degrees this afternoon. As we head towards the north here, our central zones, Toma at 68 today and Sparta just shy of 70. Looking at 67 for you in Blair. Highs reaching 67 in Eau Claire as well. 66 though further north in Cornell, and 64 in Thorpe and Stanley at 65 degrees. Your schoolcast for the morning, 70 and partly cloudy. Increasing clouds possible by the lunch hour at 68, and then partly cloudy skies for the afternoon around dismissal with 70 degrees being the temperature. I'll be back with more plus your weather forecast in just a bit.
Gap will be eliminating around 500 corporate jobs as the retailer reported a weak first quarter earning and sliding sales at its flagship brand, Old Navy. Cuts will include layoffs and elimination of open positions in New York, San Francisco, and its Asia offices. Gap is also still searching for a new CEO after their previous one stepped down in July. The National Transportation Safety Board wants all new vehicles in the U.S. to come equipped with blood alcohol monitoring systems. The technology would be able to stop an intoxicated person from getting behind the wheel. If approved, the recommendation could help lower the number of alcohol-related crashes, which are among the biggest causes of highway deaths. The Federal Reserve is expected to raise interest rates by as much as 0.75 percentage point at the central bank's meeting today. This would be the third rate hike of that size in a row. The Federal Reserve is battling against high inflation and is trying to avoid slowing down the economy too much. With advancements in technology and software, hackers and scammers are at an advantage. Investigator Steve Spraccia explains how Google Voice hijackings have quickly been on the rise.
Google Voice allows you to use all your phones and devices under a single number.
The Google subscriber you have called is not available. Please leave a message after the tone.
Besides standard phone features like voicemail, with its cloud-based website, you can call people and send text right from your computer to somebody else's phone through Google Voice. But these days, Google Voice hijackings have become a huge problem.
We get a dozen calls about someone who's lost control of their account because they gave away that Google Voice code.
The voice code is key to your account. With it, a scammer becomes you.
Somebody has gotten access to that so they can turn around and set up another Google Voice attached to your phone. So whatever criminal activity they're conducting with it, it's going to come back to you.
Online sellers are particularly vulnerable. Scammers will socially engineer them to get their Google Voice code.
The criminal will come in and say, I want to buy your stuff. but I want to make sure that I know you're real. So the way you can prove to me you're a legitimate business is you'll give me your Google Voice code.
Once the scammers have your code, they can impersonate you and, combined with other personal information about you, can access your accounts or open new accounts in your name. To be safe, never share your Google verification code. Don't give out your email address on the phone, and don't let somebody rush you into a sale, because they are likely trying to manipulate you into acting without thinking.
Google Voice codes are unique to each user, so experts advise to not share that code with anyone.
Well, sure, it's a beautiful start here to the day. City Cam 8 showing us that conditions are looking quiet. A little bit windy out there, though, thanks to that cold front that moved in. We are looking at 66 degrees with a clear sky now and a river stage of 5.12 feet and dropping. Our current temperature readings across the area, mainly into the 60s as well across the area. But 59, though, is the cool spot currently reported in Eau Claire, 63 in Sparta, and 65 down south in Viroqua with 63 further west, though, in Winona. Got a few clouds here across the area after what was a pretty stormy start here for portions of our northern zones yesterday night, last night I should say. That was ahead of a cold front that moved in. That front is now positioned to our east. So some drier air, northerly wind filtering in, and also there's some cooler air back towards the west, which is expected to help cool down our temperatures quite a bit after what was a pretty warm day yesterday. Our highest reached 89, just shy of 90, and that put us well above average of 74, even pretty close to the record high of 93 yesterday. Now for today, a much different story, 70 being our high, and that will put us below the average high of 74 degrees this time of the year. High temperatures across the Coulee region, mainly into those upper 60s to low 70s. So a very much cooler day in store here for this afternoon. Mostly cloudy skies are expected around noon today before turning partly cloudy again by 5, and then 70 degrees will be our temperature. 9 o'clock rolls around, skies will turn clear. Temperatures drop down to about 62 degrees. That front that moved through last night will continue to pull towards the east and away from us. Could see some clouds here move in off and on throughout the day and also into this evening. Only a couple of clouds here and there. That northerly wind, northwesterly wind should hang in here. And then you got high pressure here building across the area as we head into Thursday tomorrow, and that is going to help reinforce the calm weather and sunshine across the area. But if you look to the west, though, there's cloud cover, even some rain and thunderstorms, and that's our next system that we'll be watching for as we head towards later in the day Friday and also into this weekend, because rain chances from that system are going to go up. And you can see that we do have some pretty decent chances of rain. As a matter of fact, Friday through Sunday with temperatures into the 60s. We'll be looking at mainly partly cloudy conditions as we head into next week as well. High temperatures into the 60s to low 70s and lows into the 40s and 50s. So overall, it's cloudy here earlier in the day, followed by much cooler temperatures, and showers are possible by the end of this week, including the weekend. But stay with us, though. Much more news and weather still to come right here on News 8 Now this morning. But for now, we're taking a quick break. Here's a look at what happened on this day in history. We'll be right back. We had a cold front move through last night, and that's going to drop down our temperatures quite a bit, especially as we head into the afternoon. You'll notice a difference more so than this morning. But for now, as you head out the door, getting ready for your commute, temperatures into the 60s. But 59, though, in Eau Claire, one of the cool spots there for you. Let's get a check now on your dog walking forecast for the morning. Partly cloudy, and then mostly cloudy for your afternoon, followed by partly cloudy skies for the evening hours. Mowing forecast looks pretty nice for the late morning around 7 o'clock, 68 degrees, 11 o'clock, cloudy skies, but then 70, but mostly cloudy still by around 3 o'clock. I'll have your commute and your boating forecast coming up next in weather.
Welcome to the Blitz, a big night of high school volleyball last night in the MVC. Holman's been a powerhouse all season, but the Hilltoppers looking to put a stop to that at home. Let's go to Onalaska High. Vikings 14-4 on the year, 5-1 in conference play. Hilltoppers 14-6, looking for a big win early on, keeping it close. Ellie Muscati to Haley Kopelke for the kill. Onalaska down just 2 in the first, but the Vikings pour it on. Raina McCardle, the assist. to Lydia Olson. The junior skies high. That can't be returned. Holman wins the first 25-18. Good start for the Hilltoppers in the second. Bailey Yang, the set for Taylor Malling's strike. Onalaska up 3, but the Vikings storm back again. Izzy Jar with authority. 6 kills on the night for the junior. Thrilling second set, but Holman hangs on to win it 25-21. And the Vikings keep on rolling. They get the 3-set sweep over Onalaska. Let's keep it in the MVC. Pink Out Night at Sparta High. Funds being raised for locals fighting cancer. Spartans hosting Logan. Nice block here. Gives the Spartans a 1-point edge. But then the Rangers, they take over. That's Ava Detweiler. Nice hit down the line. She gets the point there. Then later in the set, here's some more from Detweiler. Perfectly placed. Nobody home from the Spartans. And Logan never looked back. This time, Detweiler setting up Liberty Spraying for the kill. Rangers take the second set. They go on to sweep Sparta 3-0. Switching over to boys soccer, battle of the top 2 teams in the MVC. Onalaska trying to stay undefeated, taking on Holman. First half, Holman threatening. Elliot Waldron finds Gavin Davis making a run. He puts it through the net to give the Vikings an early 1-0 lead. Holman threatening again. Vincent Waringa, nice shot on goal, but quick reaction from Jacob Havlick keeps this one close. Now to the second half, just a few minutes in. Waldron just runs past everyone, just one man a beat. He gets it past the keeper to put the Vikings up 2. Anna trying to make a comeback here. Griffin Schultz, the rocket from well behind the box. That goes in, but that's all the Hilltoppers would get. These 2 teams are now tied atop the MVC. That'll do it for the Blitz. We'll see you tonight.
Breaking overnight, a man set himself on fire near the Japanese Prime Minister's office in Tokyo early Wednesday in protest against the state funeral planned next week for former leader Shinzo Abe. The man's actions highlight a growing wave of protests against the funeral for Abe, who was one of the most distinguished leaders in Japanese politics. More protests are expected in the coming days, including the day of the funeral next week. Iowa confirmed a relationship with Taiwan on Tuesday. Governor Kim Reynolds invited members of the Taiwan agricultural trade to sign a trade deal. Between 2023 and 2024, the self-governing island intends to buy 96 to 107 million bushels of soybeans and 59 million bushels of corn from the state. The purchase is worth $2.6 billion US. In the past few months, Iowa has increased exports there compared to last year. The Washington Monument is temporarily closed for cleaning and repairs. This is the reason. It was vandalized Tuesday evening. Police say a man who is now in custody splashed red paint on the monument and wrote an offensive message on its base. Right now, it is unclear if the temporary closure will impact public visitation Wednesday morning. The Department of Justice charged 47 people from Minnesota who they say stole from a pandemic program that provides meals to children in need. According to those officials, the defendants set up a network of fake companies, many of which were connected to the Minnesota nonprofit Feeding Our Future. The defendants say they were feeding thousands of children every day, but lawyers say they stole $250 million and spent it on cars, property, and jewelry. This morning, we are remembering Eau Claire County Sheriff Ron Kramer, who passed away last week. He was 68 years old. Kramer joined the Eau Claire County Sheriff's Office in 1975 and served as sheriff for 26 years. Kramer is survived by Cheryl, his wife, of 47 years. And members of law enforcement across Wisconsin attended Sheriff Kramer's funeral. News 8 Now's Rob Romano was there for their final salute.
It was a pleasure coming to work every day for him.
Dustin Walters is a lieutenant with the Eau Claire County Sheriff's Department. He worked under the late Ron Kramer's leadership for years.
He was just a great leader and a true inspiration, and he was just a great guy to have around the office. He was always able to answer our questions, and he was just always there for us.
La Crosse County Sheriff Jeff Wolf called Kramer a pillar and a mentor.
He was always the first one to reach out whenever one of us were having a tough time or a major incident. He was the first one to offer assistance. He was very well respected, and he was somebody that I think all of us try to emulate and copy, try to be like him and be a leader and as respected as he was in Eau Claire.
Many people also described Kramer as a man who not only lived with integrity, but also helped others reach their full potential. Wisconsin State Representative Jesse James said it was especially moving when Kramer said he was proud of him.
He would always say that to me every time we'd have conversations, and I'd talk to him about my dreams and aspirations and moving forward in my life. He would be one of the first people I'd always call.
Travis Holbrook is a lieutenant in security services with the Eau Claire County Sheriff's Office. I asked him about the importance of Kramer's legacy.
For the department to keep going in the way that he led it for the last 40-some years that he had worked there. He was a great leader. Again, he led the department with integrity, high morals, a high moral standard, and a good moral compass. He advised, his staff that if you always lead with your heart and with good morals, you will never do no wrong.
In Eau Claire, Rob Romano, News 8 Now.
Kramer passed away one day after his 68th birthday. Kramer and his wife adopted 5 dogs together. Instead of sending flowers, the Kramer family is asking for donations to Bob's House for Dogs. That is a dog shelter in Eau Claire County. Medical assistant trainees at Gunderson Health System say their program is huge in helping getting them into the medical field. This is the 3rd class of trainees. They are hired as employees and get on-the-job training while they take online courses to get certified. Program leaders say this kind of program helps people who don't have the time or money to go through a traditional program.
This program allows people who need to work. They need a paycheck for budget and family. It allows them to come into the medical field, maybe change careers completely, or just fulfill their dream.
The next group starts in November. If you would like to join, we have more information for you to check out on our website, news8000.com. According to the White House, more than 685,000 Wisconsinites could be eligible for student debt relief. According to an analysis from the U.S. Department of Education, those Wisconsin borrowers are estimated to be eligible for $10,000. And more than 412,000 Wisconsinites who got Pell Grants are eligible for $20,000 in debt relief. Nationwide, the Biden administration estimates that more than 40 million people can get debt relief, and the remaining balance for nearly 20 million people could disappear. The need for mental health resources is high. 1 year ago, the La Crosse Police Department and county teamed up to create a new community resource. News 8 Now's Emily Haugen rode along with one of those teams to share with us how they are helping meet a critical need.
In moments of crisis, safety means more than just protection.
Creating that relationship and trust so they feel they can rely on us and call us in that time of need.
Safety is a connection. La Crosse police officer Joel Miller knows that well.
One of the things that's really frustrating as a patrol officer is either not knowing what to do or not having access to the thing that you know needs to be done.
By teaming up with mental health crisis specialist Morgan Wachowski, resources are plentiful. Together, teams like Miller and Wachowski take to the streets to meet people in crisis where they're at.
Make it better and calm it down, and by doing that, help that person get the help that they need.
The program started with a goal of reducing the number of people incarcerated.
We've also been able to divert people after arrest.
This team believes it's done even more than that.
If they have like an aversion to police, walking in with a police uniform, it doesn't matter who's wearing it.
Over the past year, the program has built relationships.
We really dive deep into the root cause of the crisis.
These first responders come together to get to people quickly.
A safe space for people to express how they're feeling can really help them find what they need to be successful.
And if requested, will stay connected to the people they meet.
We can provide this service to everyone, but providing a little extra to the people that need it a little more can really go a long way in helping them just navigate life every day.
In La Crosse, Emily Haugen, News 8 Now.
The teams take calls from dispatch and calls from the county's crisis line. We'll post those resources at news8000.com. Well, you may have heard of last month's Stuff the Bus. Now it is time to fill the boot. On Tuesday, La Crosse Fire Department took donations for the Muscular Dystrophy Association during their Fill the Boot fundraiser. That money always stays local and supports MD medical costs or research, as well as a fun summer activity.
A real fun thing for them is they go to a camp every year for a week. Get away, take a break, have some fun, and this allows more and more kids to go to that.
If you missed Tuesday's fundraiser, you can stop by any La Crosse fire station, and they will gladly take your donation. Here is proof that dreams come true. Make-A-Wish granted a wish for Quinn Larson of Waconia, Minnesota. and he decided to donate his money to build an all-abilities playground with the combo of Quinn's wish money and funds the community helped raise. That playground is now up and running. Quinn and his friends can now play the day away. Good for them. The Onalaska YMCA update is making a splash. A brand new warm water pool, sauna, and Gunderson physical therapy space are now open. The Y and Gunderson teamed up to add these new services. They say the projects will bring many positives to the community.
Allows us to bring services out into the community, close to home, in a partnership in a great building and a great organization.
Along with physical therapy, staff say the new pool space is the perfect spot for parent-child swim lessons and senior classes.
Got some clouds around the area now over the last 6 hours or so, but other than that, weather conditions are looking fairly quiet across the Coulee region, with temperatures heading out the door mainly into the 60s, but some spots like Eau Claire at 59 degrees, 63 currently in Sparta and 61 in Black River Falls, 63 in Viroqua, 61 degrees to the west in Winona. Let's get a check now on your forecast for today. Overall, a much cooler day, high of 70, and northwest winds at 10 to 20 miles an hour, partly cloudy conditions. For tonight, mostly clear, but much cooler, 46 being the overnight low there, and northwest winds at around 10 to 15 miles an hour. As far as your boating forecast goes for today, got some cloud cover here and there across the area with temperatures into the upper 60s, low 70s for the afternoon. Northwest winds 10 to 20 miles an hour over the water. And as far as your drivecast is concerned, mostly cloudy for the morning. That will continue for your lunch hour, and then partly cloudy conditions late afternoon to your early evening commute. I'll be back with a final check on your full weather forecast in just a bit. Jordan?
Sounds good. Thanks a lot, Derek. Well, coming up in the Buzz Report this Wednesday morning, an auction of belongings for the late Betty White and the return of the Golden Globes. That's all coming up in the Buzz after the break. We'll see you back here in just a few minutes.
Pretty clear start across the Coulee region now. City Cam 8 showing that nice clear shot for us this morning. 66 degrees in La Crosse with northwest winds at around 10 miles an hour. Our river stage this morning at 5.12 feet and dropping. Got current temperature readings across the area, mainly into the 60s as well. But we're seeing temperatures at around 59 degrees if you're waking up this morning from us in Eau Claire, 63 in Viroqua, 61 degrees to the west in Winona. Got some clouds here across the area now. We did see some showers and storms across our northern zones last night out ahead of this cold front, which is now, by the way, positioned to our east. Now we're on the back side, so we're getting that northwesterly wind, drier air, and also cooler temperatures are on the way. You'll feel that as we head into the afternoon. Out ahead of that front yesterday was a pretty warm day, high of 89 degrees, just shy of 90. By the way, the record high yesterday set back in 1908 of 93 degrees. Relatively close there, a little bit too close for comfort. Today's high will be around 70 degrees, and that's going to put us below the average this time of 74 degrees. The forecast highs across the Coulee region look like this with the upper 60s to low 70s. Definitely feeling a lot more like fall here across the area today. We're going to be into those upper 60s between now and around noon today, followed by a temperature reading around 70 degrees by 5 p.m. Partly cloudy skies there, and we got clear skies, temperatures at 62 by 9 p.m. tonight. That cold front that we had moved through will continue to pull away from us. Got some clouds here and there across the area. Only a very slight chance of a shower here is possible, and that northerly wind here, northwesterly wind I should say, will continue throughout today and also into tonight. Now here comes an area of high pressure that's going to build in across the upper Midwest, including us here in the Coulee region. That should help reinforce the dry air and sunshine across the area through at least early Friday. And then if you look to the west, this is our next system. We've got rain and moisture, cloud cover as well. And that is from this next system that's going to help pick up their rain chances later in the day on Friday and also into this weekend. So you might want to keep the rain gear handy just in case for those off and on showers that we could see. Temperatures will remain cool here through the end of the week and with highs into the 60s, highs into the upper 60s for early next week as well before warming up slightly into the 70s mid to late next week, but low temperatures into the 40s and low 50s.
In our Buzz Report this morning, the Golden Globes will be returning to TV. The Hollywood Foreign Press Association, Dick Clark Productions, and NBC all confirmed the awards show will return to television on January 10th of next year. This year's event went untelevised amid the HFPA's diversity and ethics controversies. 8 decades of memorabilia from Life of Betty White will be up for auction. Julian's Beverly Hills will host the auction containing over 1,500 personal items, including clothes, awards, furniture, and scripts. White passed away from a stroke on December 31st of last year, just 2 weeks shy of her 100th birthday. Now, the auction will take place this weekend. La Crosse's Oktoberfest is right around the corner, and the medallion hunt is already underway. Now, in case you missed Tuesday's clue, and these are sponsored by Emmer J360, parks, bridges, bushes, and trees are where it's been stashed. Many challenging memories and inklings of the past, high and low, but never hidden underground. Pay close attention around where you play is all around. And now here is today's medallion hunt clue. This is clue number 3. Originally on the Gopher side of the river for more than a century and all-around recreational giver, a beach, gazebo, discourse, and even a lagoon offering seasonal fun with paddles, skates, and even more strewn. With that in mind, we've got some birthdays to celebrate this Wednesday morning.
That's right. We want to wish a happy 8th birthday to Piper. Now she loves unicorns and Minecraft and is an amazing big sister.
Happy birthday, Piper. Also, happy 8 months to Marshall. There he is. He is a smiley, happy baby who loves his family and, of course, his puppy.
Love it. And if you know a special someone turning 8 months, 8 years, 80 years old, or 88 years old soon, we'd love to feature them.
Yeah, make sure you let us know. You're going to upload their photo right to our website. Look for the Submit Pictures button right under the Home tab at news8000.com. Your morning news now is just ahead. Everything you need to know this morning in 5 minutes or less. We'll see you in a couple of minutes.
Ahead on CBS Mornings, Puerto Ricans are still dealing with the aftermath of Hurricane Fiona, but the storm is highlighting another problem on the island. David Begnaud investigates what's behind Puerto Rico's crumbling healthcare system. Also, a new documentary produced by Oprah honors the life and legacy of the late actor Sidney Poitier. Gail sits down with Oprah, the film's director, and Poitier's daughters for an emotional conversation you do not want to miss. And it's a debate you've probably had at your house: how to balance household chores. A new documentary could help, and the director calls it required viewing for couples. It's going to be hard, but you'll make it. We'll see you at 7.
Your morning news now on this Wednesday. Yesterday, Wisconsin remembered Eau Claire County Sheriff Ron Kramer, who passed away last week. He was 68 years old. Kramer joined the Eau Claire County Sheriff's Office in 1975 and served as sheriff for 26 years. Kramer is survived by Cheryl, his wife of 47 years. La Crosse first responders know the need for mental health resources is high. 1 year ago, La Crosse Police and the county teamed up to create community co-responders, and now that program is set to expand. The program puts a La Crosse officer and a county mental health specialist on patrol together. The teams answer crisis calls to meet people where they are. Officer Joe Miller says having a specialist immediately on scene with him can help get people in crisis the help they need much faster. Medical assistant trainees at Gunderson Health Systems say their program is a huge help in getting them into the medical field. This is the 3rd class of trainees, and they're hired as employees and get on-the-job training while they take online courses to get certified. Program leaders say this kind of program helps people who don't have the time or money to go through a traditional program.
This program allows people who need to work. They need a paycheck for budget and family. It allows them to come into the medical field, maybe change careers completely, or just fulfill their dream.
The next group starts in November. If you would like to join, we have more information you can check out on our website, news8000.com.
And we are expecting a much cooler day after we get through some clouds out there this morning, followed by partly cloudy conditions throughout the remainder of the day. Temperature is in the upper 60s to low 70s.
According to the White House, more than 685,000 Wisconsinites could be eligible for student loan relief. According to an analysis from the U.S. Department of Education, those Wisconsin borrowers are estimated to be eligible for $10,000, and more than 412,000 Wisconsinites who got Pell Grants could be eligible for $20,000 in debt relief. Nationwide, the Biden administration estimates more than 40 million people could get debt relief, and the remaining balance for nearly 20 million people could disappear. The Onalaska YMCA update is making a splash. A brand new warm water pool, sauna, and Gunderson physical therapy space are now open. The Y and Gunderson teamed up to add these new services. They say the projects will bring many positives to the community.
Allows us to bring services out into the community, close to home, in a partnership in a great building and a great organization.
Along with physical therapy, staff say the new pool is the perfect space for parent-child swim lessons and senior classes. Well, I'm sure you've heard of this month's Stuff the Bus. Well, now it is time to fill the boots. On Tuesday, the La Crosse Fire Department took donations for the Muscular Dystrophy Association during their Fill the Boot fundraiser. That money always stays local and supports MD medical costs and research, as well as a fun summer activity.
A real fun thing for them is to go to a camp every year for a week. Get away, take a break, have some fun, and this allows more and more kids to go to that.
If you missed Tuesday's fundraiser, no worries. You can stop by any La Crosse Fire station and they will gladly take your donation.
As you head out the door today, we're expecting a mainly cloudy one here between 8 around noon, and then temperatures around 70 degrees under partly cloudy skies later in the day around 5 p.m. Northwest winds at 10 to 20 today.
Don't forget to keep up with the news of the day at news8000.com. CBS Mornings follows us here, and Derek and I will see you right back here tomorrow at 5 a.m. We hope you have a great day.